election in Malaysia. Corruption is one of them, and there are fears that this election will racially divide Malaysia like never before. So if you win, what will you do to address rampant corruption, and how can you make sure all Malaysians of all cultures and all religions have a voice?
Well, the central focus in our elections is good governance. To mature as a democratic nation, and therefore the institutions have got to be strengthened and fortified. And there's a general consensus not only among the opposition but the general masses of Malaysians who are tired of the ruling clique and establishment amassing wealth by the billions and allowing for the gap to grow between the very rich and the very poor. And the second issue, as you have said, relates to the issue of racial harmony. Ours is a multiracial coalition led by Malay Muslims, of course, but there's a clear position to respect the rights of all Malaysians and to rid the country of excesses, corruption, and discriminatory practice that help enrich the few.
All right, well, that's an interesting point you make about racial harmony, because if the PR alliance does form the next government, which is the alliance that your party's in, many people in Malaysia are worried that there's no way that DAP and PAS can work together. Two of the coalition partners, PAS is Islamist and wants Islamic law in Malaysia. DAP is a secular, multiracial. This is a recipe for racial and cultural disaster, isn't it?
This is the theoretical position, a criticism levied against us all these years. But in the last 5 years, we have proven in states like Penang and Selangor, where you can see this coalition working together, we have proven that in terms of governance, in terms of accountability, in terms of services to the people, we are far superior, and we have proven to be effective. So I think the issue about the differences between DAP, the Democratic Party, and the Islamic Party is more academic. Yes, there will be differences, but it does not actually alter the course, because unlike coalition in other countries, we have spelled out in clear policy framework and agenda what we need to do, our position with regard to the Constitution.
Okay, there are worries also, Anwar Ibrahim, about nepotism within your own PKR party. You're the advisor, your wife is the president, your daughter is the vice president. You face criticism in Malaysia and elsewhere that this is a family dynasty. What's your response to that?
Aziza was able to lead the coalition, and particularly the Justice Party, when I was in prison. And she remained, of course, president, but she has now decided not to contest in the elections. Nurul Izzah, my daughter, went in the hard way. She is not the crown princess given billions of ringgit and given the perks. She had to struggle. She had difficulty even being admitted to university. She is being maligned and attacked everywhere. So we are here in a struggle. You can compare this to the children of the very rich and the famous. But I leave it to the people to decide. And I therefore feel that she should be given a chance like any other Malaysian citizen.
Okay, you're running in what many people say is a crucial election. But of course, you have several personal issues in terms of your own legal wranglings, issues going on in the court. There are several accusations of sodomy. You're taking some newspapers to court. Do you think your legal troubles will impact negatively on your appeal to the voting constituents across Malaysia?
That was initially the design of people like Dr. Mahathir, who became initially threatened and therefore had to conspire and fabricate this, and it has been proven and thrown in court. In fact, the chief prosecutor in the second case is now with me, which proves that the entire charge is baseless And now the father of the so-called victim has come up publicly apologizing to me and my family. And this is important, to my mind, to give a clear signal to the people that the Prime Minister's office and his establishment were involved in the fabrication.
Let me just get a final thought from you, Anwar Ibrahim, and talk about the Malaysian economy. That's important, of course, going into this election. Recently, the Malaysian Prime Minister, Najib Razak, said he needs a strong election win to curb the budget deficit and raise investment in Malaysia. Would your government, if you won, be politically robust enough to keep up Malaysia's growth? Because given the political uncertainty surrounding your coalition, the Malaysian stock index was Asia's worst performer this year. People are uncertain about your capacity of the coalition to govern.
It's an issue of poor governance, of endemic corruption. It's a flip-flop on the economy. It's a massive deficit of 540 billion ringgit, 400 billion just under Najib alone. I know I served 8 years as finance minister. I know the position. So I think to attribute the blame to the opposition is, of course, unacceptable, because I think the government in power has to explain. We believe in market reforms and market economy, but we are very strong in terms of distributive justice and affirmative action on the poor. But more important, we must cut the losses, cut corruption, and ensure that the country is governed in a transparent, responsible manner.
Okay. Anwar Ibrahim, thank you very much indeed for talking to Al-Jazeera.
Thank you again.
Now, you're